Hi, boys and girls. We're going to continue on chapter 16 and 17 today. Leaves are beginning to fall. When Papa and I walked the dogs, their legs rustled up leaves with enough noise so that Papa and I didn't talk. I liked walking with Papa and not talking. Even the dogs didn't talk. Outside around other dogs, they acted more like dogs than people. Sniffing, playing, falling down, pretending to be submissive, growling, and all those dog things. Ruby, the Boston Terrier, was at the park. She raced around and around. Grace sat like a queen and watched. If Grace could roll her eyes, she would, said Papa as we sat back on the park bench. Magic, I said. I never believed in magic. Neither did I, said Papa, not until I came home. Except for Ruby, who it was very quiet in the park. For a while I didn't miss you when you were gone, I said suddenly, when the dogs first came. I can understand that, said Papa, turning to look down at me. I meant it when I said they are a better family than I've been. And I was angry that Eleanor had to dream about you at night instead of flowers and fairies and magic, I said. But now, I said, I would miss you if you went away. I could feel tears in my eyes. Neo, as he always did, put his paw in my lap. Papa put his arm around me, and the dogs all looked at him. I would miss you too, William, which is why I'll never go away again, said Papa, ever. Everything was still. Then Biddy, because he couldn't stand it any more, raced off after Ruby. We sat with the rest of the dogs as leaves drifted down around us like feathers. Chapter 17. Winter came with winds and early spits of snow. The dogs disliked the cold, except for Neo, who loved it all. Even with their colorful knitted coats, Grace, Bryn, and Biddy complained when Papa and I walked them home from the dog park. Neo, stop whining. Remember the whining fairy? Biddy, she doesn't fly in winter. Bryn, her wings would freeze. Grace, fairy wings never freeze. Papa laughed. You're quite the storytellers, you dogs. Neo, no, you're the storyteller. I wonder, said Papa thoughtfully. Papa had been writing through the days when he wasn't teaching classes, and late at night, sometimes in the early morning when it was still dark, I'd hear the clicking of his fingers on the keyboard. It was a comforting sound in a funny way. That clicking sound meant he was there. The snow started to come down harder, covering the sidewalks. I looked behind me and saw all the footprints we made. 2 people walking, and the prints of dogs. Neo's large prints, Bryn and Grace's smaller, and Biddy's the smallest, making a design of hopping and jumping. Papa turned to see what I was looking at. We smiled at each other. He took my hand as we walked. Snow began to blanket the dogs, a soft cover of it on Neo's head. When it got to our house, the door opened suddenly, and Eleanor stood there, her eyes big and frightened. What? Said Papa quickly. Mama's packing, said Eleanor. The dogs ran past us into the house, shaking snow all over Eleanor and the hallway. Bryn was in Mama's bedroom when we got there. Janie, said Papa, going over to put his arms around her. I think it's about time to go, said Mama, trying to close her suitcase. Wait, said Eleanor, running out of the room. Mama straightened up and then began to laugh as the dogs crowded into the bedroom. Eleanor ran back into the room with her see-through fairy wings. Take these with you, said Eleanor. You won't forget me, and Weenie might like them. I won't forget you, said Mama, giving Eleanor a hug. We'll leave them here until he's old enough, and it's not to be Weenie. Gran and Grandfather stood in the doorway. Would you like a few more people in there? Said Grandfather. Come, come, everyone, said Gran. Let's leave Janie and Joe for a bit. We'll see what's in the kitchen for dinner. We followed Gran and Grandfather out of the bedroom and into the kitchen. Grandfather peered into the refrigerator. What is this? He asked, holding up Marvelous Murphy's alternative dinner. Marvelous brought it, I said. It has flowers in it, said Grandfather. He took it over to the trash and dropped it in. Oops, he said. Neo, good job. Thanks, Neo, said Grandfather. I'd never heard Grandfather talk with the dogs before. He saw my look. They, the dogs, are very good conversationalists, he said. Better than most humans. True, I said. What about pizza? Can we order it delivery? Yay, said Eleanor. Biddy, could we have anchovies? Bryn, Grace, Neo. No. Mama and Papa came into the kitchen to say goodbye. Mama hugged me. It's fine, William. Soon we'll be home again. I'll call you, said Papa. Lula came into the kitchen and rubbed against Mama's legs. Bye, dogs. Bye, Lula, she said. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Go, go, said Gran. I'll have a baby blanket finished by the time you get home. She will, you know, said Grandfather. And then they were gone. Eleanor and I and the dogs watched through the front window as they drove off in the snow. It's okay, Eleanor, I said, not really believing my own words. I know, said Eleanor. But she leaned against me until the dogs told us it was time for their dinner. We ate our pizza. It was growing dark now, and it seemed a long time ago that Papa and I had walked the dogs in the snowy park. Can I sleep with you? Eleanor asked me. She wore her white nightgown with brown rabbits all over it. Yes, I told her. Gran knitted away in the living room, and Grandfather read the paper, with Biddy on his lap. The news is not very interesting today, he said Grandfather to Biddy. I'll read the comics out loud. She's off to have the baby. Biddy, I can't laugh, you know. That's all right, said Grandfather. They aren't very funny anyway. It was very late. Everyone was asleep but me. Gran and Grandfather had gone to bed in the guest room. Eleanor was in my bed, sleeping with Lula. Neo was there and Biddy. I had watched the moon come up and move across my window into the white branches of the maple tree. Suddenly I heard the phone ring in the hallway. I jumped and ran to answer it. Hello? William, said Papa. I could hear both tears and laughter in his voice. Nicholas is here.